at this stage in your life versus maybe when you were younger, what are you ultimately looking for from a director?
I think the number one thing is deep respect for the character.
Okay.
I won't be in judgment of her because I can't play a part if I am. But if the director is filming from that sentiment, then I'll never be as bold because he's looking for choices that are going to make her more palatable for an audience.
Right.
That's not my homie. I like people who are thinking about no one and in that moment are considering what's the most truthful thing that this person would do. And it may not be pretty and it may not be kind and it may be embarrassing, but it's the truth. But, you know, I can only experience what I'm feeling. I'm not seeing it. So I need the director to be in the same place I am. And then in the editing room, he can judge all he wants.
Sure.
But on set, the only thing that sort of crucifies me as an actor is if someone comes in with judgment or a preconceived notion.
Uh-huh.
The first obvious time I was in awe of a director was on Recount. Jay Roach was directing, and he looked at me, and I was we were talking about starting shooting. We hadn't started. And I was sort of laughing about the idea of something. I was playing Secretary of State Katherine Harris, and Jay said, yeah, she's my muse. And that just stunned me. And I realized that I was in more judgment than he was.
Wow.
And he was in awe of her ability, no matter what anybody thought of her, to truly be who she was. He found a place to admire her, and that really inspired me.
How you doing? I'm Cory Hunter. This is Tips from Directors. We watched the interview with Laura Dean. Spoke about that one quality she admired in directors, and that is, in my own words, authenticity. Or rather, she can connect with directors who are looking for authenticity in the characters that they're trying to capture. They're not trying to force that character to be something that that character isn't. They want to capture that character in their rawest or truest form. And then, you know, create the art from there. So yeah, let's break it down, man. Let me put that into my own words. I get it. When we writing scripts, when we create movies, when we're doing anything in terms of like content creating or, you know, art, what we become worried about is the audience. We are worried about the audience, right? Because without an audience, our art can't flourish, right? It don't matter how great our paintings are or our books are or ideas or films or videos or whatever the case may be. If it's just locked at home, then it's not really worth anything, right? Bottom line. That's just the honest truth of it, right? We can say, oh yeah, man, I do my art for me. And if that's true, then that's nice. That's a decent pastime. But if we're trying to take it to the next level, we need an audience, right? So yes, we should worry about what the audience want, right? But it's also a fine line we have to walk, because if we want our art to truly connect, right, we have to have some type of authenticity. It have to have some type of realism. It have to be based in reality, in the real world, right? So we have to create characters that people can connect with, and people can connect with real characters. Because, man, when we create stuff that's PC, it's not really interesting, right? We try to do things that's nice and safe, and truth be told, man, if it's not a big spectacle, if it's not Marvels or Star Wars, like, you're walking the line and you're not really bringing anybody in, because you're making a story that's really about what? Like, what is it really about? If the characters aren't relatable, right? If the characters aren't relatable, then what are you really saying out here? What are we doing out here? Why are we even writing? What are we doing? We have to create real characters and not be afraid to show them for who they are. And this is how we create dope scripts, right? Like, you watch Pulp Fiction and it's dope. It's dope. right? You see very interesting characters, but you also see characters you can identify with, right? If your main character is flawed, let that character be flawed to a fault. We have a main character, we want our main characters to be likable. We want people to rock out with them, and they can, but they can also be real as well. If we have a main character and they're charismatic, let them be charismatic. But if they're selfish, we have to let the characters be selfish. Now, being selfish isn't necessarily a great quality, but it's something people can connect with, right? Because it's real. It's something we see in ourselves. It's something we see in the people around us. It is a part of the human element that's worth being explored. And in order to explore that, we have to make room for authenticity and not say, oh yeah, man, we shouldn't let the character be that because it might rub some people the wrong way. If it rubs them the wrong way, then that's a good thing, because now it's hitting something. It's hitting something real. You get me? So yeah, we can't be afraid to write characters the way that we need to write them. I know sometimes we get caught up in structure. We want to structure our script the proper way, the way that we learn. We want to create dope and interesting characters, right? But dope and interesting characters are real characters, and we have to understand our characters and be real with them. You know, some of our characters are bad people, man. But you know, sometimes bad people is likable people. But then you also gotta really think about it. What is a bad person, right? And what is a good person? Like, that's very broad, or maybe it's a very thin line. Maybe even that's worth being explored, right? Understanding these characters, understanding people who we know in our real lives that allow us to connect with these characters, and then being able to take that and allow the audience to see that. That's a big deal, man. That's a talent, and that's something we can't forget when we're constructing our stories, right? We can't forget the human element. It's okay to let our characters not be perfect. It's okay for them to be flawed, all right? Sometimes we question ourselves and say, all right, this, when I was writing the story, it was hitting for me, but now I'm scared what the audience may think. We can't be afraid of how they will receive it if we're telling something that's honest. And we have to let our characters do them. We have to let them do them. Otherwise, they're not going to become real characters, and they're just background characters. That's all I got for you. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. And of course, until next time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check me out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Leave a comment so that we can get a discussion going. Check out the Patreon, check out the Turtle School. That's there for you. Tools to help you learn and write and create stories. Thank you, and I appreciate you.